Hello everyone, I'm Jerry D'Ambrosio, Manager of Educational Content and Senior Trading Strategist here with VectorVest. I want to thank you guys for joining me here today. Today I want to talk a little bit about continuation chart patterns. Continuation patterns are an indication traders look for to signal if a trend is likely to remain in play. So the market's been in a downtrend clearly as of late. It has shown signs though across all the major indices that we're searching for a bottom. We've had some pretty wild swings over the last week or so. But in the event that selling pressure continues and the market does continue to move lower, I want to talk a little bit about a few bearish continuation patterns that I'm going to keep my eye on. So the first stock that we're looking at here is Win Resources, ticker symbol WYNN. We're looking at a 1-year chart. I'm within the VectorVest program, and the indicator at the bottom is volume. Just a couple of moving averages I want to throw on the chart. First, a 50-day moving average. You can see price currently below its 50-day downward sloping moving average. Retested it a couple of times recently, and it's just pulling off of a new low as of late. Also below the 200-day down sloping moving average. So the stock is clearly in a downtrend, but recently it has established a support level right around $66 or so. Stock has had a tough time breaking through that $66 level. Now, if I scroll all the way back to the left, you can see that correlates to the support right around $66, $67 that we saw last summer, June, July, August, September, even into the fall of last year. So, over the last year and a half, the stock price has had a hard time falling below this 67, 66 support zone. And what we're seeing as well here, I'm going to create an extended line here, is we're seeing a series of lower highs. This pattern is called a descending triangle. It's a bearish continuation chart patterns. Now, it could be a bullish pattern, a bullish reversal pattern, if price were to break above this upper trend line. But the lower highs that have been put in, along with the support level at 66, does suggest that selling pressure is dominating at the moment. Now the buyers are coming in at that 66 level, and they've done that a few times and held that zone and pushed price higher. But what we look for, and what I'm going to be looking for here, again, if the overall market continues to break down, pretty big week this week and next week, Fed meeting, inflation data next week. Not sure if it's quite priced in, but again, if we continue to break down, those things aren't going away, right? Those forces aren't getting any better anytime soon. So if the market continues to break down, I'm going to look for win, and this is going to be a short position that I'm likely going to take. If it breaks below this $66 support zone, that would be a nice indication of potential breakdown, further breakdown, and you might make some nice profits on this short position. Remember, that also correlates to pretty significant support that we saw back last summer. So how do you trade this pattern? Well, first, you wait for the breakdown below support. Okay, so I'm going to wait for the breakdown below the $66 support level. I'm going to wait for price to close below that zone in order for me to take the short trade. So closing below 66 and change, and then following through the next day, continuing to move lower, that's my trigger to enter the short position. Where will I set my initial stop? Well, let me create a freehand line. I'm going to set my initial stop at the most recent lower swing high. Okay? That's where I would set my initial stop. You can also use the trend line. I created an extended line here. The extended line that connects the lower highs, that's going to extend out into the future. So you could use that extended line. Again, if price breaks down through that support level, that line is going to continue to extend out in the future. You could use that that trend line there as your initial stop. I'm going to keep it a little bit looser. I'm going to use the lower swing high there as my initial stop. My profit target is going to be when the stock breaks down below support, when it breaks down. If it breaks down below support, I am then going to measure the distance between the support level and where the trend line sits at the point of breakdown. Everybody with me? So that extended line there is going to continue to extend out. You know, if price, let's just say, breaks down from here, continues to move lower from here, retests support, breaks down through support, I will then measure the distance between the support level and the trend line, and that is where I would set my initial profit target. Okay? I will look then to take maybe half the trade off and let the rest run. And when I take half the trade off, what I'd like to do then is I like to then lower, because again, this is a short position, lower my initial stop to entry so that when I take half off, worst case scenario is I break even on the second half, but I still made money on the trade, right? Because I booked profits when my initial stop was reached. So I love this continuation bearish pattern here. Lower highs, level of support, breakdown below that support level would be an indication to take on a short position. Now the next pattern I want to talk about here with Match Group, this is called a bear flag. We're familiar with bull flags. This is a bear flag. I'm going to put on our moving averages as well. Same situation here with Match Group. Price below not only the 50 but the 200 as well. Both moving averages sloping downward. Price is in, pretty significant extended downtrend. What we're seeing here though, as of the last couple of weeks, little capitulation. So a bear flag is formed when you have a substantial drop in price. That substantial drop in price needs to be accompanied, as you can see, by higher volume. Then here, what we have is, again, capitulation in the form of a horizontal rectangle. What we generally like to see there as well is volume dry up. So uncertainty here about the direction of the stock's price. Substantial drop in price on high volume, little capitulation here on volume that does appear to be drying up. So this is a bearish continuation pattern. So I'm going to look for price to break down below that level of support. So I draw my lines here. The lines stay on my chart. I wait for a breakdown below that support level. I wait for price to close below that support level. Very important. Price to close below that support level. Then I wait for downside confirmation the next day to take the trade. My initial stop on this short position is the upper channel line. So I would set it right above the upper channel line. Okay, if I'm wrong, let's say I do take the trade. If the price breaks down below that support level, I take the trade. Price reverses pretty much immediately. If it closes above that little mini resistance level, the upper channel line there, I will close the position. My initial profit target, I measure using the length of the flagpole. So here, if I draw my flagpole here, that's about $102 to the top of the flagpole. To the bottom of the flagpole is 75. That's $27. That's a pretty substantial move. That's on a $75 stock. I mean, that's 33%. I don't want to get too greedy, but that is where I should expect price to move to if it breaks down below. Let me pull this out a little bit further. I mean, I'm looking at almost a 2-year chart, little mini support there as well. We could expect price to fall all the way back down if it does break down through this 75 zone to about $45. So there you go. There's your about $25 profit potential all the way to the recent or the low that was established in March of 2020. Okay, so a couple of stocks that I'm taking a look at here. All this depends on if the market continues to break down. We've had some wild swings lately, so it does seem like the market is trying to find a bottom. If selling pressure continues, I like these two potential short trades. Now, if you want to learn more about continuation chart patterns, just click on the link below. I recorded a video not too long ago about continuation chart patterns, both bullish and bearish. So thank you folks for joining me today. Again, click the link below to learn more about continuation chart patterns. Thank you folks.